All right, we're back again with another episode of Roofer Reflections. I'm really excited to have Joshua here. Joshua, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Thank you.
Awesome. I mean, one of the things that really stood out for me is your creative title on your LinkedIn profile, the Swiss Army knife of the roofing industry.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things I came up with, because when I grew up starting this 20 years ago, I was a residential roofer, but you had to learn everything. You couldn't just do shingles. If you did shingles, you had to do siding. If you did siding, you had to learn how to do bend metal. If you bent metal, you had to learn how to do windows. And then it went to everything else, like sheet metal, to commercial sheet metal, to commercial roofing, to everything. And I never stopped. And nowadays you see guys that are just specialized in one thing. The actual reason why that came up was I was at a commercial roofing company, and the guys couldn't figure out how to do simple metal. They're like, "We're not metal men." I'm like, "You're a roofer, aren't you? Can't you put edge metal on? Can't you figure out how to do coping and cleat?" And they're like, "No, that's not our job." So I figured that I'm like the Swiss Army knives we used to get back in the 90s as kids for presents, that it had every tool you needed, and that's who I am.
At what point did roofing come into your life? What were you doing before?
I was a soldier for a few years in the 82nd Airborne, and then I got out. I actually worked for Carlisle, their tire plant. They used to make tires, and I built tires for them for years. And then I had a drug addiction. I got clean. When I went to a halfway house, the guy that was my roommate, I needed a job, and his sponsor was a roofing contractor, small-time roofing contractor, and I needed to pay child support. So I was like, all right, I'll do it for $8 under the table. 20 years later, I just grabbed it by the balls and ran with it. I just didn't stop, because it's a fun job. There's endless possibilities, and there's endless money that can be made as long as you put the effort forward.
Yeah, sure. And when I look at your titles, you've done lots of different roles. Like, walk me through that. I know some people like to, do similar things and stuff like that. I mean, it seems like you love the challenge of something new.
That's exactly why I keep going for doing different titles. It's kind of like, I'm a field person. I'd rather be in the field, but then I learn what I take in everything I can about what we do, and I go back and I go to work in the office, or be a PM, or then a supervisor or a superintendent. But I do that because I want to help the internal make the external work better, if that makes sense. But then I see work and I'm like, that's not good work. I have to come back out here. And it's more challenging to me out there. But even with the company I'm at with Houck now, it's a company in Harrisburg, PA. I go to my general manager of my department, John, and I give him ideas all the time to help changes. Now, they don't always go through, but that's my better way in to help change, from them everybody not knowing that I do it to help everybody, because I have that knowledge, and I got that knowledge from some of the greatest companies in here. I work for a company called Burns & Scalo out of Pittsburgh, and they gave me the biggest break I could have ever asked for. And I made that happen. I became a sheet metal foreman out of the blue, not knowing anything. And they allowed me to take a job that I knew nothing about, and I learned it on the fly and brought in a profit. And the owner is an amazing guy, Jack Scala. But even to this day, I'll call him, and he helps me, or gives me ideas, or points me in the right direction, because I did the right things for him, and I left on good terms. But that I have a group of amazing people in this industry that help me out. The VP of that company, Burns & Scalo, if I have a question, I can ask Bill Ludwig. He retired, but he's the man that hired me. And when I worked there, he just, he feeds that hunger that I have to find the next best solution to help, not myself, but help who I'm working for.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess sometimes, when you get an opportunity, even if you don't know what it is, yes is the right answer, huh?
Always. Never turn down an opportunity because you don't know what's going to be around that corner. When I was at Burns Scout, they had a job in Carmel, Indiana that needed done in a certain amount of time. And somebody had to watch over the sub crew. And Jack, he came to me and he said, "Can you do this?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, I never back down from not a challenge. To me, it's a challenge. That's what makes this fun. When the challenges run out, that's when I switch roles. But he gave me a challenge that most people couldn't have pulled off, but he had the faith in me to pull it off. And I not only brought it in time, I brought it 2 days early. And that just put a big, like a kind of inflated my head a little bit, but it allowed me to know that anything that I do, I can do it if I put the effort to make it happen.
What do you tell people to come to you for advice?
Right now, I'm very lucky. I'm almost 46 years old, and you don't find many roofers anymore coming to do what we do. But I have a young kid that's 18, and I was just supposed to look over until he went with the foreman he was supposed to go with, and I asked my boss if I could take him under my wing because I saw something in this kid. And what I tell him and everybody else that I teach, that just go out and do it. Well, listen to what we say. Just go out and do it. When you mess up, you mess up. Who cares? You're learning. But when you mess that up and I show you how to do it the right way, that's when you're going to retain it and you're going to apply it the next time. I've made so many mistakes doing this work that it made me who I am too. If I didn't mess up and I didn't own up to it, I wouldn't be the roofer I am.
What's kept you in the roofing industry all these years?
There's always a challenge. Like that's what I look for. There's always new things coming out. Like when I was in Pittsburgh, like I learned ECM panels. That was the thing that I forced myself to learn, and I helped them make a company. Burns Scala made a panel manufacturing company. So that was a huge challenge and a new thing. When I came back to Pittsburgh, or when I came back from Pittsburgh to Central PA, I went down to Baltimore and I learned how to. Helped run a torch down roofing company in the hood, and that was a whole other thing. I always find something. It's just my nature. Like the company I'm with now, Houck, just looking for opportunities to help make the company better. Like I pitched an idea to my GM about a field supervisor position to help out the superintendent. And we came up with some ideas, and I took the idea from my time in Pittsburgh, and he got it passed. So they're working on making that a thing, so that way it doesn't back up the superintendents. Because I have a great superintendent, I have great PM, and I have everybody in the office is great, but they get so backed up. So them actually being able to use an idea that I have to maybe make their lives easier, that's fun to me. I may be the Swiss Army knife, but I'm not perfect. And I love learning from the old guys, the new guys, somebody that might know something different to teach me something, and that makes it fun too.